I want to start today with a question. And I want you to answer this question honestly, just to yourself. You don't need to tell anybody. You don't need to DM me or email me and tell me what it is, but I want you to answer it within yourself honestly. When was the last time you told someone the truth about how hard building this thing, this business, this being on this entrepreneurial journey has actually been? When was the last time you were actually honest with someone about it? I want you to think about that for a second. Not the polished version, not, oh, it's a grind, but we're growing. No, no, no. I want you the real version. The lonely at 11 o'clock at night version. I want you to, I want the version, I want you to answer the version that talks about the I'm not sure anybody in my life actually gets what I'm doing version. Because here's what I have noticed. And I'm gonna just tell you this. So many of us are building something brave, and we're doing it almost entirely alone. And we've somehow convinced ourselves that that's just how it's supposed to be. Today, I want to talk to you about that. I want to talk to you about that very thing. And I want to tell you why I think that whole idea that you're supposed to do this by yourself is a bold-faced lie. And what you need to be doing instead. I'm Karena Calhoun. This is Go Be Great. Come sit with me for this one. Come sit at the table. For those of you, welcome back to the table. If you're new here, quick introduction. I'm Karena Calhoun, founder and CEO of Warcry Consulting Solutions. I built business systems and automation for service-based business owners, the folks who are gifted at what they do, but are drowning in what it takes to run it. And I'm going to be honest and tell you, I am a confidently bold introvert, which is actually relevant to today's topic because introverts feel this particular loneliness in a very specific way. We'll get there. We'll get there. Everything I do comes back to structure over hustle. Okay. We build the structure that runs your businesses day to day so you get your time and your revenue back. And usually on this show, we talk about systems and we talk about automations and all of the different types of machinery of a business. That's what I talk about on sometimes, lots of times on the solo episodes, because we do have guests on the show, amazing guests, by the way. And we'll talk about, if you want to be a guest, we'll talk about that at the end of the show. But for today, we're talking about a different kind of structure. The humankind. We're going to talk about the humankind, the support kind, because I've come to believe that the people around you are just as much a part of your business's foundation as any system I could ever build for you. Right? I'm just going to put that out there. I'm just going to put that out there. All right? Because we are diving into something a little bit different this time. Okay? I call this whole approach the scale freedom method. People hear that and assume it's all software and automation. They think it's all software and automation. But the human layer, the people who hold you up, is part of the structure too. I need you to understand that. And honestly, that comes first. 2 weeks ago in the relaunch, I said something in passing that a lot of you wrote to me about afterwards. I said, the loneliness of building is real. And that the story of the founder who did it all by themselves, that's not aspirational. It's just lonely. And I got so many messages from people saying, that was me. This is me. I feel so alone in this. So today's whole episode is for you. For every one of you building something in a quiet room, wondering if anyone else is out there. You are. You're out here. There's a whole crowd of us. And I want us to show all of this. So let's talk about the lie first. Let's talk about the lie first, okay? Because we have to name it before we can put it down. The lie goes like this. Real entrepreneurs figure it out themselves. They pull themselves up by their bootstraps. They don't need help. They grind alone. They sacrifice alone. They white knuckle their way to success. And then they stand on a stage and tell this amazing story of how they did it all by themselves. We've heard that story so many times that we've started to believe it's the only story. And worse than that, we've started to believe that if we need help, if we feel lonely, if we can't figure it out on our own, then we're not cut out for this. That's a lie. That's the loneliness. That's the loneliness, right? People are thinking that loneliness is a personal weakness instead of a completely normal human response to doing a hard thing in isolation. I need you to hear me clearly. I need you to hear me clearly. That's a lie, y'all. And it's a harmful lie. It is harmful. Here's the truth. Nobody builds anything real entirely alone. Nobody. Every single one of those bootstrap ideas or stories that's going around, if you dig into it, they had people in it. Not person, but people. A mentor who opened the door, a partner who covered the bills during the lean years. I can attest to that. A friend who believed in the thing before there was any proof it would work. I can attest to that. A community that caught them maybe when they were about to quit. You know, when you want to take that deep dive off the cliff, but they caught them. The solo founder story is a myth we tell after the fact, and we edit all the helpers out of it because a lone wolf story seems more dramatic, but it's not true. And believing it, my friend, is costing you. It's costing you. Because here's what the lie actually does to you. It makes you suffer in silence. It makes you think that asking for help is admitting failure. So you don't ask. So you stay stuck longer. Much, much longer than you actually need to. It makes you isolate exactly when you need people the most. And it makes you spend money that you really should not. Been there, done that. This is the part that I can tell you without a shadow of a doubt, I know personally. Because when you're too proud or too scared to ask a real human for help, you go buy a program instead. You buy the course, the template, the shortcut, because it feels safer than admitting to a face that you're struggling. I did that. I did that. Over 4 years, I spent about $20,000 on programs. And a huge part of why is that I didn't have people. I didn't have a mentor. I didn't have a community that guided. So I kept trying to buy the support I was too isolated to find. And most of those programs took my money and left me exactly as alone as before. As before. So let me say the thing the lie doesn't want you to hear. And I'm going to say it loud. Needing people is not a weakness. Say it again. Needing people is not a weakness. It's the most human thing there is. And building a business, which is one of the hardest, most uncertain, most emotionally exposing things a person can do, is precisely the moment you need people most, not least. Not least. The problem isn't that you're weak for feeling alone. The problem is that the loneliness is real and nobody handed you a map or a blueprint to fix it. So let me tell you my story and let me give you the map. Let me give you the blueprint. Let me take you back to 2018. I was helping to manage 4 corporate departments. 4. It was a lot of responsibility, y'all. A lot of people depending on me, a lot of pressure. And in the middle of all of that, I decided I was going to go build a business of my own. Not because I had extra time. I had none. Not one drip drop. Not because I had extra money. Listen, I was going to be spending money on programs that didn't work. So it's not like I had a whole bunch of extra money. But because I had a vision I couldn't shake. That's what was happening. That's what was happening. I had a vision that I could not shake. A different life that I couldn't see, even though I couldn't touch it yet. So I started to build. And here's how I built. On 2 15-minute breaks and a lunch hour. That was my window for a while. That was all of it. While coworkers were doing their thing on their lunch breaks and all of that stuff, everybody thought I was on break too. But I was building a business. I was building a company 15 minutes at a time. Now, here's the part that I don't always talk about in great detail. During those years, my father became very ill. And I was carrying that in addition to the 4 departments and building the business. If you've ever tried to build something while somebody that you deeply love is sick, terminally sick, you know there's no framework for that. There's no course out there for that. There's no, y'all, there's no productivity hack for grief. And especially grief that hasn't happened yet, but is coming. but there's the grief of knowing that it's coming. I was holding a full corporate job. And also, in addition to all of this, I had a brand new, not, it wasn't too brand new, but it was brand new enough. It was under 10 years. I think at this point it was about 6 years. A brand new blended family. I was newly married, figuring out how to be a family. I had a father who was passing away, and a dream that most people around me really could not see. And I was doing almost all of it alone by myself. I had my husband, and he is an amazing support. But I was the one that had the dream. He's not an entrepreneur, so there were things that he didn't quite get. But he was supportive, I tell y'all that. But that's the part I want you to sit with, because it's the whole point of today. It wasn't the workload that really almost broke me, y'all. I can carry a workload. It was the aloneness. It was building something huge in 15-minute windows and having no one to turn to and say, is this normal? Am I doing this right? I didn't have other entrepreneurs around me that I could talk to like that. Is it supposed to feel this hard? Please, somebody just show me the way. I didn't have anybody that I could turn to with that. And because I didn't have that person, I went looking for them. And the only place I knew how, I bought programs. So over that time span, over those years, more than $20,000. And I want to be so honest with you about why. It wasn't just that I wanted the information. It was that I was desperate for somebody to literally stand next to me and tell me, okay, yes, this is how you do it. Yes, that's normal. Yes, you know, I was buying connection, y'all. And most of those programs sold me a login instead. I logged in, got a little bit of information, and they sent me on my way. It ended up being courses that I watched by myself. A community that really was, it was just a sales funnel. That's all it ended up being. I stayed exactly as alone as I started, minus the $20,000. And there was a night, I remember it, where I sat there and thought, this cannot be the way. This cannot be how it's supposed to be. And I made myself a promise. I said, if I ever get to the other side of this, I am not going to pull up that ladder behind me. I am not going to be one more person telling the lone wolf story. I am going to be the support that I could not find. I'm going to build the tables I wish someone had pulled out a chair for me at. This show is one of those tables. The work I do is another. And this episode right now is me keeping that promise to a version of myself who was building alone in those 15-minute breaks and just needed one person to say, you're not crazy. You're not weak. And you were never meant to do this by yourself. I needed that person. So I am being that person. So if you're in your own version of what my 2018 was, if you're in that right now, you're carrying too much, you're building in the cracks, whatever your cracks look like, doing it alone and wondering if that's just how it's supposed to be. I'm here to tell you it doesn't have to be. And I'm going to show you exactly how to change it. So let's talk about how you actually find your people. Let's talk about that. Let's talk about how you actually find your people. So here's the good news. And it's genuinely good news, y'all. The loneliness is fixable. It's fixable. Support is out there. It usually doesn't just come find you, though. I can tell you that. You have to go build it on purpose. You got to do it on purpose. Let me walk you through how, step by step, because I don't want you to leave with a nice feeling and no plan. That's never my goal. That is never my goal here. Leaving feeling good but don't know what to do is never, ever what I want you to do when you come to go be great. Step one, make sure you got your notebook and your pen, your paper, your journal. Write this down. Step one, get clear on what kind of support you actually need, because I feel alone is real, but it's too big and too broad to act on. So break it down. Do you need a peer? Do you need someone at roughly your level who's in the trenches with you right now so you can text each other? Is this normal at 11 o'clock at night? Do you need a mentor, someone a few steps ahead who's already walked the path you're on? Do you need a community, a full room of people just to get in the trenches with and say, listen, we're here and what are you doing? Or do you honestly need a professional, someone that you can pay to help you build or figure out a specific thing? Now, I'm going to be honest with you. Most of us need a mix, but naming the specific kind you're missing turns a vague ache or pain into an actual to-do. Does that make sense to y'all? All right, that was step one. Step two, look where those people already gather. Whichever one you said you needed, look for where those people already gather. You don't have to invent community from scratch, y'all. It already exists and is more findable than you think. Local business groups, chambers of commerce. I'm a member of a couple of them. And the rooms that they put you in, they can be more worth their weight in gold. Online communities, they can be built around your industry or your stage of business. You can look for events, workshops, meetups. The people you're looking for are already gathering somewhere. Your job is to go where they are instead of waiting for them to find you in a quiet room. I went into a networking event recently, and a young lady that was in there scheduled a call with me. And I said, what prompted you to schedule the call? And she said, it's lonely out here, and I heard some of the things that you said, and I wanted to connect. I'm doing my job. I said, here's my phone number, my personal phone number. Let's commit to staying connected, because I know it's real out here. All right, step three. And this y'all, this is a hard one, so stay with me, okay? You have to reach out first. What did I just tell you that lady did? And she was honest. And she's an introvert. So I know I'm an introvert too. She's an introvert. She did it. I understand exactly how much easier it is to stay in the quiet room and hope somebody notices you. But here's what I've learned, and I've tested this over and over. Every single time I've been brave enough to reach out first, to send the message, to introduce myself, to say the vulnerable thing, just like that lady did with me, someone has shown up. She did the vulnerable thing. I'm right there for her. Period. Period. Someone shows up. Now, I can tell you, it may not always be someone that you expect, but somebody shows up. Support lives on the other side of you being the one to reach out. And here's exactly what reaching out can sound like, because I know just reach out that can be useless without words. It can be as simple as, and write this down, it can be as simple as, hi, I'm building something in this space and I'd love to connect with other people doing the same thing. Period. Hi, I'm still fairly new to this. Would you be open to chatting sometime? That's it, y'all. That's the whole brave thing. You don't have to be impressive. You don't have to pretend you've got it all figured out. Listen, you actually, just to be honest, just say, I'm new to this. That's what makes people lean in, because it gives them permission to be honest as well. All right. So that was step 3. Step 4, show up consistently, not perfectly, y'all. Show up consistently. Community is not built in one grand gesture, one big whoop-de-doo. That's not how it's built. It's built in small, repetitive moments. Commenting on somebody's post, showing up to that thing again, remembering what someone told you the last time and asking about it, being a familiar, reliable presence. You don't build a support system in a day. You build it in 100 small show-ups. So pick 1 or 2 places and keep going back. Instead of dropping into 10 places once and then disappearing, pick 1 or 2 places and keep showing up. Step 5, that was step 4. Step 5, be patient and be discerning. Oh my goodness. If those 2 things right there, listen, these are the 2 things that really try to take us out. Be patient and be discerning. Not every room is your room, and it's okay. Not every person is your person, and that's okay. That's fine. You're not looking for everyone. You're looking for your few. Some rooms will feel competitive or hollow, which is what I normally sense. And you can just leave those. Just leave them. Keep looking. When you find the right people, you'll know. You'll know. Because being around them will give you energy instead of taking it. That's the test. Your people leave you feeling capable, not less than. So that's the map. Name what you need. Go where those people gather. Reach out first. Show up consistently. And keep looking until you find the ones who feel like they are your people. It does take courage, y'all. I'm not going to sit up here and tell you it don't. And it does take time. I'm going to tell you that too. But it is so much better than another $20,000 spent trying to buy the connection you could have built. I'm telling you that from experience. And once you found your people, here's where it gets really good. Because the whole thing works in both directions. In both directions. Here's the part that changes everything. The best way to end your own loneliness is to be the support somebody else is looking for. Be the support somebody else is looking for. I know that sounds backwards. You're the one who needs help. So how does helping someone else fix your loneliness? It's true. It's true though. I know some of y'all like, whatever. Listen, it's true. And here's why. The moment you stop waiting to be found and start being the person who finds others, you stop being alone. Because now you're connected. Now you're in it with people. and you become the mentor, you become the peer, the familiar face someone else was praying they'd find. And you cannot be that for someone else and stay isolated. It's not possible. So let me give you some real ways to do this starting today. Reach back. If you know something, anything that you learned the hard way, teach it to the person one step behind you. You do not have to be at the top of the mountain to help someone. You do not need to be at your destination to help someone. You simply need to be on your journey. You just have to turn around and offer your hand to the person who is one step below you. And here's the beautiful part. The lesson that cost you the most, y'all, a lot of times that's worth the most to somebody else. If you have something like a $20,000 lesson that could save someone else $20,000, give it away. That's how we break the cycle. Choose collaboration over competition. The person doing something similar to you is not your enemy. There's room. I promise you, there's room. Some of the best things I've ever built came from partnering with people I could have treated as competition. And instead, we chose to build together. And we both went further than any of us could ever imagine, being alone. Two people standing together reach higher than two people guarding separate corners. Show up for people. For the launch, nobody's commenting on. Y'all see those launches and nobody's commenting. For the post, somebody was brave enough to publish. For the person who's clearly struggling and pretending that they're fine. Y'all see them. We all see them. Send that message. Leave the comment. Say, I see you, and it matters. Say something. Support is, listen, support costs us nothing. Support can be small, consistent gestures. They don't have to be big, grand gestures. Being the person who reliably shows up. And be specific with your support, y'all. Let me know if you need anything is kind. That's great. But it puts the work back on the person who already is drowning in whatever they're drowning in. I remember, and I learned this. I'm gonna tell you how I learned that. Years ago, someone had a death in the family. And I heard them say, they said, yeah, I've had people reaching out and saying, how can they help and how can they, be of support and let me know if you need anything. And they said, I need these people to stop saying that to me because I don't know. Tell me what you can do. If you can go and pick up my dry cleaning on Thursday, if you're off on Thursday, tell me you off on Thursday and you can run errands for me. You can go to the grocery store. This was years ago before, delivery and all that stuff. But they said, if you can cook dinner for my family, tell me you can do that. What is it that you're willing to do? Instead of saying, let me know if there's anything I can do. No, you tell me what you can do and we'll go from there. So that's where I actually got that part from because that stuck in my mind. Don't say, let me know if there's anything you need. It's kind, but it puts the work back on that person. So instead, you might say something like, I've got an hour on Thursday. Can you help me with this thing? Or I can help you with this thing. Or I've done that before, want me to walk you through it. Specific support is real support. Vague support is just politeness, y'all. So here's the truth underneath all of this. Here's the truth. Every one of us knows exactly what we wish somebody had done for us at our lowest and most isolated, most confused moment in business. So, or even in life, period. So do that. Do that for someone else. Be the answer to someone else's quiet, unspoken prayer for help. And in doing it, you're going to find that you're not alone anymore. That's the secret, y'all. We fix our own loneliness by refusing to let someone else stay lonely. You were never meant to build alone. Not you, not me, not any of us. So let's stop pretending that we were. Let's find our people. Let's be someone's people. And let's build the thing none of us could build by ourselves. None of us. Okay? Now, speaking of building together, I want to invite you to this table. Go Be Great. Because there's no better example of what I've been talking about than sitting down with each other and telling the truth. If you've built something real, if you got a story or a lesson that would help the people listening, I want to talk to you. You don't need a big following. You don't need to have it all figured out. You just need something honest to share. And you need to have the willingness to share it and be real. Here's exactly how to apply. There's no fee, no cost, or anything associated. Grab your phone. Here's step one. Go to podcast.warcry.com/listen. I'll say it again. I'm going to say it again. And it's actually, if you see up at the top, you can see it. podcast.warcry.com/listen. Okay. And the link is going to be in the show notes, description, all of that good stuff. In case you missed that, again, it's up at the top. But here's step 2. Fill out the guest application. It's going to ask you a bunch of questions. Fill it out. Hit submit. If we are a good fit for one another, don't get in your feelings if you don't get a message back. If you don't get invited to the show, don't be in your feelings. We got quite a few folks who are applying. It might not be the time just yet, but submit your application. Take a leap, okay? So here's what I want you to carry out of today. The loneliness you felt building this thing is real. Hard stop. But it was never the way it's supposed to be, okay? Never. And it's not a sign that you're weak or that you're not cut out for this. It's just a sign that you're doing a hard, brave thing and you haven't found your people yet. So go find them. Name what you need. Go where they gather. Reach out first. Say the brave, honest thing. Show up again and again. And while you're at it, turn around and be the support for somebody one step behind you. I built this whole thing partially alone in 15-minute breaks, carrying more than I knew how to carry, wishing so hard that just one person would show up for me. And I refuse to continue doing that. I got people now. I got people. So let me be that person for you right now. Across this microphone, you're not crazy. You're not weak. You're not behind. And you were never, ever meant to do this alone. Go find your people. And go be somebody else's people. And next week, we bring this whole journey home. We're going to be talking about freedom next week. About a business that actually runs without you and how the people and the systems come together and really in one path forward. Okay. That's the whole heart of the scale freedom method. And I cannot wait to share it with you. Today we talked about the human side of it because I needed to get that out. I needed to talk about it. It's been on my heart. It's really, really been on my heart. And I want you to understand that um, you don't have to do any of this by yourself. You really don't. So I'm Karena Calhoun, and this has been Go Be Great with Karena Calhoun. And until next time, y'all already know what to do. I will see you all on the flip side. Bye for now.